So we did a import of most of your businesses already, but there's going to be a need at some point for you to add a new business. And so to do that, you can come here to the directory and select Add Business, or if you're just on the home page, you can come to More and then select Add a Business to the directory. And so the first thing that Sitefolio is going to do is make sure that there's not an existing business. So they're going to do a search first. So you type in your business name here and then search. And if it doesn't find a match, it's going to dump you into this page here where you can start entering the basic information for your business. Let's just say you want to have your address, the city, state, and zip code at least. And then these phone numbers here and fax numbers, that's for the main office. It's not for actually the contact that's associated with this business. So at this point, I just want you to select Save Business. So at this point, you just need to edit your business. And then this is optional, but I recommend every time you create a business to assign it a business type and a discipline. So that's the pencil icon there. And Christy's a professional consultant. So I'm going to click Save. And then select the discipline from the list here, and then Save. So here we have our classification information on the business. Our location is there, but there's no contact associated with this business. So that's the last. And then to add a contact to a business, you just want to select the contacts and then add another person's name and then search. And then if it doesn't find a match, it's just going to drop you into this screen here where you're going to enter the contact information. And just so you know, if this person's ever going to get an account to log in, you at least need to have an email address for them. So it's really important to at least type in an email address for your contacts, and then all the other fields you can, type in on the as-needed basis. You'll just want to locate the business in your directory and then select locations and then edit business. And then there's going to be an add link here.
So we don't want 10 NICORs. We want one NICOR, 10 addresses.
Right. Then you type in the information. And then if you want to make it the headquarters, which the first one entered defaults to the headquarters, you select that and then save. And that bumps it down as a supporting address, not the headquarters. So what's going to happen when you have multiple contacts? I just want to show you when you have multiple locations, you're going to want to make sure to select, the proper one here.
So I would use maybe the city of DuPage or whatever, or county of DuPage.
Okay, so basically, if you want to do anything on this page, as administrators, you're going to have this edit button. So you just want to select edit. And then we have here a section to change the description of the team page, which the one that we see here is what I added, as just when we went live. You can edit the team page name and then choose file if you want to update the image that's on the front page.
Okay.
And it has to be a JPEG or a TIFF or some photo file type. A PDF won't save there. And then links. This all ties to the links box here. So you'll see on your actual homepage, I organize your reports under these headers: project management reports, administrative reports, and then there's a resource and the mobile application. And so there we see our headers there. So you can add headers if you want, like if you want to post a bunch of links. Let's say that you just wanted to add, you know, building department links. You would create your header there and then click save. And now that's ready to house some links. So to add a link, you just come over here to add link. You want to name the link and tell it which header you want it to go under. And is it a direct link or a file? This is going to be a direct link. And then you can tell it to open in the current browser or in a new window, which I typically select that. And then you want to go get your link. So then you would just copy the URL and paste it here. And then save. And you can sort your links too. So what if maybe you wanted that one at the very top? You just use the directional arrows. We're going to get into how to create a new project. All right, so in Sitefolio, we have your restaurants organized under what we call sites. So like for Kentwood, so let's just, if I do a search for Kentwood, so you'll see that we have this portion right here, which is the actual site. And then underneath it is this project, which is the original restaurant, which is in permitting right now. But if at some point in the future you want to do a remodel on Kentwood, you're going to create a second project under the Kentwood site and number it 039-002. And then any consecutive projects that you do, you're just going to keep adding them under this site. So that's why we say things like site and project administration, because you have to create the site first and then the projects. All right, so what you're going to want to do to start this process is go to More and then Administration. And then this little box right here is going to pop up and you'll select Site and Project Setup. So let's say that you're going to build a new restaurant in Arkansas. Please. So, and you don't have a restaurant there yet, so there's probably not a site number. You can select Cooper's Hawk here, but you don't have to. But what you might want to do is select the country and then the state. And then we're going to see if we already have a restaurant in Arkansas, and we do not. So this is what comes up when it does not find a match. It gives you the option to add the site right here. So from here, you're just going to select that. And do you see the red ribbon here? That means it's a required field. So you have to put something in for the restaurant number. Even if you don't have one formally assigned, you can use a temporary one. So let's just say this one is Northwest Arkansas 01. We don't have an address yet. Okay, so if you look at the top here, you'll see that we're at the site setup portion, and then we move on to step 1 and step 2 and step 3. Now these fields down here, you can enter the data after you've created this project and site. You don't have to do it now, but if you know it, feel free to enter that.
So I've been skipping all of this, letting her do it.
So like again, and then once you're done, just select continue, and our little thing up here is going to move to step 1 of the project, because now we're actually creating the project. So then you want to enter the project number, which again is going to be the site number or the restaurant number plus 001. And then you enter in a project name, which could be the same as the site name or not. How does Jen want the project names to be populated? So just enter in your name there. This you don't have to populate. It doesn't affect anything. It's just for our own purposes, if we want to ever bring that, you know, out of the database, we can tell you who requested the project. This is the project description, because this is somebody that can kind of do the next step for you. So let's say that Jen wanted to only do the first step, and then she wanted Jen Lingle to do step 2 and 3. You could hit complete here.
Mm-hmm. And then it would notify me to get my butt moving on
Right. Right. And then in the email notification, let me see if I can bring it up here. Here, it would look like this. And it would say, click here to begin step 2.
Cool.
And so you would click there, and it takes you right to step 2 for that project. So this is where in the user guide, I have the red font, because you're at step 2, and I don't ever want you to forget to check these 2 boxes, because what we're doing here is we're saying this new restaurant project that we're creating, we're giving Sitefolio and Cooper's Hawk access to see it, to view it.
Got it.
Okay. And then complete, because we moved on to step 3. All right, so if I had checked my boxes, it's going to drop me into the project, but I don't have access to it because I didn't check the box, so it brought me here. So that's what's going to happen. If you're ever brought here after you create a project, it's because you didn't give anybody access. So that case, you need to come to their security teams here. See where it says teams?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to want to do Cooper's Hawk. And then projects. And then you want to search for the identifier, which I think it was 045. Oh, there it is. Yeah, the box isn't checked. And once I do that and then save, then you'll be able to search for it when you. All right, let's say that we need to create a remodel project, or what was the one that you were just talking about, Jen? The
a patio.
Okay, let's say we have to add a patio project. In that case, you would come to more administration again and come here to site and project setup. And in this case, you are going to put this restaurant number in where it says site number. So what's the restaurant number?
24.
Then just type in 024. You don't have to enter anything else, and then click on search. And then do you see it comes up here? And then you're just going to want to select add project. And since we already have the site set up, it put us directly into step 1 here. And it shows you the previous project number, because it won't let you use 2 of the same project number. So then you would just be like, okay, it's in design. So refreshy. And then you check your boxes. And then when you're done with step 2, just hit continue, and then continue or complete. And that drops us right into the project. All right, so member administration is, again, when you want to give somebody a username and a password. So again, they have to first exist here in the directory. So the first thing you want to do is do a search for the person. I'm going to just do Robert Spratt, just for training purposes. Oh, and there he is. So you want to select Robert. And if he's not there, then you need to go back up to number 2 and add him, like you just learned how to. And then select create member. And then this funny little screen will pop up. So you see here in the instructions, it says can login will be checked, do not uncheck. This box is directly related to the user's ability to log in. Authentication type is standard web. Don't uncheck, otherwise they won't be able to log in. The email address should already be populated, which it is. The username is going to default to the email, but if you want to change it, you could. But again, Pantera, you want to skip this because you guys don't use it, so just go ahead and skip that. Forced password change is not going to be editable, so leave it checked. Email greeting, this is something that you can opt out of. If you want to send an email containing the password to the person, keep that checked. If you want to do it for them, uncheck it. And then login homepage. Again, I put select my dashboard for external users and Cooper's Hawk for internal. So this is an outside guy, so I'm going to select my dashboard. And then global navigation. I recommend for Cooper's Hawk employees, you check these 3 boxes. So at this point, you're going to want to save and configure security. And then now we're moving into security administration, which I don't want to do yet, so I'm going to skip this part. But this is where you would assign the roles that they get. Let's say that you need to reset somebody's password because they forgot. All you want to do is come to this page of their profile and select change password, and then just reset it and save. All right, let's say that you need to close some accounts, deactivate some accounts so they can't log in. To do that, you're going to want to come back to more, administration, and then I want you to get used to using this page here. It's called Enterprise Members. If you click on that, this is going to bring up a list of everybody that has an account with Cooper's Hawk, including Sitefolio people, which you are not billed for. So there's 10 of us, and it looks like 20 of you, but you're only invoiced for the active users. So what I like to do here is I'll just like select the last login, and it will sort everybody by the last logins. But this is nice because if you need to close somebody's account, you can just come here and say, oh, they've never logged in. So I'm just going to go ahead and select James here. It's going to bring me to this page where I can uncheck this box here and then click save. And as soon as you do that, they cannot log in anymore. The only reason I'm going to talk about bidding security is just to let you know that it's automatic. So, for example, so what I mean by that is if you're setting up a bid package, which I'm going to do really quick. And we'll cover this tomorrow. And you name your bid package. So as soon as you add your bidders here, okay, and I'm going to make Jen the bid package manager, actually, Barry. I'm going to make Aria Group the scope manager.
Oh, this is so cool. I can't wait for tomorrow.
So I know. So as soon as I click save here, y'all, it's going to automatically give everybody on this here proper security to this bid package. Okay?
Cool.
So Bob Christian, like if we were to search for him right now,
Yeah.
let's do a search for Bob, and I'll show you what I mean. If we go to his security access page, you'll see that he has bidder access to Kentwood right there. So you'll want to make sure that anyone that you add to a bid package is going to actually be the one that's logging in to enter the numbers to the bid package, if that makes sense. When the bid package is closed and the bidder selected, then all that access gets removed automatically. All right, so let's talk about project security.
Yep.
The way that I have your guys' security organized is through what we call security teams. And right now, I only have 2 security teams created, one for your architect and one for your contractor. As we open it up to vendors and other GCs and architects, we'll create additional teams. What's different about, like, let's say Cooper's Hawk security team versus ARIA's, like if I go into the ARIA group security team, it's going to show me all the people at ARIA. Those names probably look familiar to you. This is the security roles that they have. So you have the project architect, they get TeamPage external and enterprise external, and they can only use live reporting, they can't create live reports. And then also on a security team, you're only going to add projects onto their team that they are actually actively working on. So I think you said ARIA got everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Projects
And but if we went over, so like for international contractors, you'll see that they only get those projects. Because remember, member administration is first, that's the first part. And the second part is granting security roles and project access. And what you're going to want to do here is come to the team member roles header and select add. And then you just select their security team. So I want to talk about contract security really quick, then we'll be done. All right, so in Sitefolio, we have a second layer of security for contracts. And the reason that we do this is because, like for FF&E contracts, if you have multiple vendors with contracts, you don't want them to see each other's contracts, right? We have security at the contract level that needs to be applied, and I really quickly want to show you how to do that. Just create an FF&E contract really quick. So typically what happens is, as an owner, you're going to, once the contract is in the system, you have 2 choices. You can either fill in all the cost sheet information yourself, or you can send it to the vendor to do. But before you do that, you're going to want to apply security to the contract. That's what most of my clients do for the FF&E. So what you're going to want to do before you send it to your vendor is click the padlock and then edit. And this is all in the user guide. And then you would find them in the system or in the list here. So let's pretend like Courtney is the vendor. So you'll see we have 2 columns here. One is the approver and one is a submitter. Now you don't want a vendor to be able to approve their own contracts, so you're never going to use this column when you're giving access to somebody else. When you're giving access to the vendor. You're only going to do the submitter column. So you're going to check these boxes here. And then save and return to your contract. To be able to lock down access for each of your FF&E vendors to just their contract. That's why we have to do the padlock. Basically, what most of my clients do is, because they only have one GC, they don't have to set security for the GC. And don't typically apply security for their services contracts. Most of that happens at the FF&E level.